I have led an unusual life. I buried my father at the age of 50. I've had 2 of my brothers killed in the prime of their lives. I raised my children as a single mother for 8 years when my husband was arrested without conviction, a hostage to my political career. These are the powerful words spoken by Benazir Bhutto, who is not only an inspiration to all the Pakistani people out there and the Muslim women, but all the people in the world. She served as the first head of a Muslim state, and she was a prime minister who ended dictatorship in Pakistan before she was assassinated in 2007. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Women of Substance with me, Nikki. So this week we're going to talk about Benazir Bhutto, who brought about change in Pakistan in many ways. She was not only the first head to serve a Muslim state, but she was also the first female prime minister. She brought about so many changes, ended dictatorship in Pakistan, but before she could do more, she was assassinated in 2007. So today we're going to go and learn more about how she lived her life.
We want to avoid bloodshed. We want to avoid loss of life. But I also want to say that if it means sacrificing our lives, if it means sacrificing our liberty to save Pakistan and to save democracy, because we believe democracy alone can save Pakistan from disintegration.
So let's go back to her roots and find out more about Benazir Bhutto. She was born on June 21st, 1953 in Karachi, Pakistan. She was the eldest child to the Premier Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. Benazir Bhutto completed her lower level education in Pakistan. However, then she decided to come to the US to finish up her higher studies. So she went to Radcliffe College. Then she went on to Harvard University, where she got her bachelor's in comparative government. Then she decided to go to United Kingdom, where she pursued more education in Oxford University, where she studied international law and diplomacy before she returned back to Pakistan. Bhutto returned back to Pakistan in 1977 after completing her studies in the UK as well as the US. However, not everything looked great back home. When she went back in 1977, her father was overthrown by General ul Haq. General ul Haq in 1978 went on to become the president of Pakistan. Then her father was hanged in conviction of charges of authorizing a murder of the opponent. This left her crushed. However, she did inherit the leadership of PPP, which was founded by her father, Pakistani's People's Party.
I feel overwhelmed by the emotion. There were days when my father's death anniversary would come, when his birthday would come, and I could not pay. I couldn't come here, I couldn't pray for him. So it's so moving for me to finally be here and be able to pray at his grave and the grave of my young brothers who lost their lives in the prime of their youth. And also to see this wonderful mausoleum that has been built. My father used to say that the people of Pakistan are my political heirs. They are my sons and daughters.
Benazir Bhutto fought and did many anti-government rallies while she was in Pakistan. And during these times, she was arrested many times. And one time for 3 years. Before, in 1984, she was permitted to leave the country. So she decided to go to London and get settled there. However, her and 2 of her brothers decided to form an underground organization in Pakistan to resist the dictatorship going on in Pakistan. Despite getting a lot of negative feedback from the government in Pakistan, her and her brothers kept fighting for people's rights and resisted dictatorship in Pakistan. However, in 1985, one of her brothers was killed. He was poisoned as per the family's reports. However, there were no complaints that were formed. He was killed in the Riviera in the 1980s. Then she decided to travel to Pakistan to bury his body. However, again she was arrested in Pakistan for forming anti-government rallies. Another one of her brothers was also killed in 1996 while fighting back to the Karachi police.
This is undemocratic, this is unjust, this is a mockery with the verdict of the people, and I am going to fight for the people's democratic rights.
When Benazir Bhutto moved to England in 1984, she was still the leader in exile of PPP, the party formed by her father. She returned back to Pakistan in 1986 and hosted a nationwide campaign for free elections. Then, in 1987, she met a wealthy landlord owner, and she married him, Asif Ali Zaridar. And then she went on to have 3 kids with him, 1 son and 2 daughters. As fate would have it, in 1988, Zia-ul-Haq was killed in a plane crash in Pakistan. However, this was a new way and a new part of beginning for Benazir Bhutto, because then she went on to become the first Muslim woman to be the Prime Minister of Pakistan, or any Muslim country for that matter. On December 1st, 1998, she was elected Prime Minister of Pakistan. In 1990, however, Benazir Bhutto lost the elections to someone else, and she found herself in court defending herself on several charges of misconduct while she was in office.
The cabinet, all these were being used as rubber stamping for getting projects and programs through, which did not have any relevance to the economic needs of the people of Pakistan, but which were white elephant projects and had massive kickback and commission opportunities.
Accusations, accusations, accusations. And I say those accusations were lies, they were unfounded. Of course, I had the reins of power. I was Prime Minister. The Constitution says the Prime Minister is Chief Executive. But I was Chief Executive to bring about social enlightenment. I was Chief Executive to show Islam as a religion of moderation. I was Chief Executive to promote the rights of women and minorities.
And not to channel power through your office.
I was not Chief Executive for business interests.
Benazir Bhutto was not a woman who was going to back down. So in 1993, she fought again for the elections and she won. However, she was defeated in 1996 again. And then on her self-imposed exile to Dubai and Britain in 1999, she was convicted yet again, and this time for 3 years in prison. However, in 2002, she was reaffirmed the leader of PPP party, which again was formed by her father. While she was in office, she had this dream and this vision to modernize Pakistan. She brought electricity, education to countryside places. She put her priorities for healthcare, childcare, and education, and she wanted to see Pakistan as not a third world country, but a country that was building up itself as a modern Pakistan.
First of all, I think religion is a personal matter and each person must interpret it for themselves. So what I'm telling you is my interpretation as a Muslim. And for that, I believe that God gives men and women equal rights. In fact, Islam goes beyond Christianity, in that Islam gives inheritance to women, the right to divorce to women, the right to child custody to women, whereas Christianity is silent on these issues. So I think that this is really a social charter. What is marriage in Islam? It's a contract where both parties say we are coming together to have a family, and these are the terms by which we will live together. So I think that Islam really is a religion of liberation, but that there is a mafia of tribal thoughts, patriarchal thoughts, the traditional society.
Although Benazir had a lot of followers and supporters, there were those who opposed her. For example, Islamic fundamentalist movements. They despised her for wanting to modernize Pakistan, and one of them was her brother Mir Murtaza, who was estranged from her after the death of their father. However, he returned back from abroad and decided to file charges against her husband, Zarbari. Benazir Bhutto decided to put her personal tragedies aside and decided to run for Prime Minister yet again for the election of January 2008. Although many people were enthusiastic of her arrival, within hours of her arriving, a suicide bomber tried to assassinate her. Although Bhutto survived this assassination attempt, for the first time, 100 bystanders were killed. Again, As the elections for January 2008 were coming closer, everyone knew that the PPP would win this election and that she was going to be the Prime Minister of Pakistan yet again. However, as the elections were getting closer and her victory was getting closer, she was attacked one more time, and this time 20 bystanders were killed, and she was rushed to the hospital where she succumbed to her injuries and she passed away. This gunman that shot Bhutto and killed her caused a lot of eruption and riots in Pakistan. People could not believe what had happened in their country. They could not believe that the lady that was supposed to be prime minister in just a few months, that was so close to victory, had been killed. This was a shock to the country and it shook the nation. Many people came out and caused lots of riots. Many rallies were formed for Benazir Bhutto, and this really showed the love and support that people had from her. People had a lot of expectations from her because she was going to modernize this country.
वो अल्फाज नहीं, वो दिल से ज़बान पे वो अल्फाज नहीं आ रहे। आज हमारा सब कुछ खत्म हो गया। आज पाकिस्तान का सब कुछ खत्म हो गया।
They said, arrange a plane. While somebody's arranging a plane, I come back here and the television announces she's dead.
We saw in the news, we saw how everyone reacted.
On CNN, it had a picture with the date of her birth in 2007. So, and my wife and I, we cried.
Benazir Bhutto had a vision. She had a vision where she prioritized children, poverty, education, and healthcare. And no other government official has been able to fill that, or been able to even do as much as she had done in just her one term. However, people wanted to see her do another term in 2008, where she could have done more for the country. She could have helped out the children more. She could have educated more people. She could have educated more women. She could have improved the healthcare system in Pakistan. However, because of her assassination in 2007, people are left with sorrows. Another legacy that Benazir Bhutto left behind is the Benazir Income Support Program, where she helped people without any conditions and she distributed cash and money to low-income families. In 2013, 5.5 million families in Pakistan received 1,200 Pakistani rupees twice a month, which was spent largely on food. However, after her assassination, this still continues to go on and now is being looked after by her widower husband.
Pakistan is my home and I want to be there. I have stayed out temporarily only because I think that I can better lead my party from outside than being silenced in a prison wall. And I felt that's what they want to do. They want to lock me up in prison, fragment the Pakistan People's Party, ensure that we cannot continue fighting.
What might have happened if Bhutto got to run as a prime minister for the third term? What might have happened? What changes could she have brought to the country? What changes could she have brought to poor people and low-income families in Pakistan? We will never know because of her assassination. However, many people are still left wondering, what differences could she have made in the country had she not been assassinated?
How can a 2-day-old Pakistani be a threat to the daughter of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto? How can a 2-day Pakistani be a threat to somebody who's been elected twice Prime Minister of this country?
People inspired by democracy, human rights, and economic opportunity will turn their backs decisively against extremism. With these wise words of Benazir Bhutto, I am signing off for this week's episode of Women with Substance, but don't you worry because I will be back next week with another inspirational story to share with you.
We want to avoid bloodshed. We want to avoid loss of life. But I also want to say that if it means sacrificing our lives, if it means sacrificing our liberty to save Pakistan and to save democracy, because we believe democracy alone can save Pakistan from disintegration.